All right. In 5, 4, 3. Hey guys, how's it going? Nick Campbell here, and with me as always is
David Steele.
And we are Rhythm and Wit.
Yes, this is the Rhythm and Wit Podcast, episode number 39, almost to 40.
Almost there.
If you didn't know, this is the podcast where we discuss and explore the creative and artistic expressions of artists and performers in Oklahoma City and beyond.
All right. Hey, Dace.
Today we have Dace Carlson.
What's
Howdy.
going on, man? How
Welcome.
you doing?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
You feel creative? You feel spotlit?
I'm tired. We do this early in the morning, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the
Got my
thing.
coffee.
But
Yeah, I
don't
forget. Young kid. Like, how old are you?
25.
25,
Yeah.
25. You know kids or
that's the prime
you got any
time.
kids or any
No.
family or anything? Okay. I don't
No.
know. I don't know much about your background. I know you're very funny. You're very funny, man. No, I mean it. Like last, you were on Comedy on the Spot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Was that the first time you did like a riff show?
That was the first time I did a riff show. I've done a crowd work show.
Okay.
Okay.
And that went
So it's kind of
terrible for me.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where was
yeah.
that at?
That was at Lawton.
Okay.
That wasn't on them, or that was just on me. But I don't I
just-
need material. I need something to go off. Just give me something or
Yeah.
something I can't.
Yeah.
and
So
that was just
did you think
difficult.
that this was better than that, as far as just because of
For
the
me.
having the topics thrown out at
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
For me, for
Right,
sure.
yeah.
Because I don't know what to just cold turkey
Right.
talk to a guy about or
Yeah.
whatever. But if they tell me shoving
Yeah.
Skittles up
Just-
your butt or whatever, then I can.
Yeah.
I got something.
That
there.
was a solid topic.
Yeah,
that
that was
was
fun.
given at Comedy on the Spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were going crazy because this is the first time I don't know if you noticed this. I know this was one table in the back that was like writing and putting in those suggestions into the bucket.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you like knew that or like told or obviously that's kind of a good idea.
I love that. Yeah. I
But
didn't
it's
even
like
know.
you could start taking topics before the show go around and take people's topics to put them in the bucket
That's a good idea.
because that's
That
what
all
they were sneaking them in there.
That all started because an audience member came in the room and they just had them on these cards and they were like, "Where do I put these?" And Caleb was just like, "Just put them in that bucket."
So we have to thank Caleb.
I didn't even know there was people putting it in there.
I
Yeah.
thought that they just were sneaking them in there because I think that table had been before, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here's the thing is whenever it's over, I'll grab the stuff that people leave on the
Yeah.
tables and put them in the bucket anyways.
okay.
Use them again.
So it's like, oh, this is a good idea. and
If
I'll
you
just throw it in
writing,
there.
I just
But
write
yeah,
them down.
We'll just
Yeah.
have them do it before. That's a great idea. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dace.
Uh,
I didn't know they were
thank
doing
Caleb.
that.
Yeah, like I
Tell
said,
him.
yeah, I didn't know Caleb told him to do that. That's funny.
That's brilliant. Yeah, dude. It's Caleb. Just a little ball of chaos.
Yeah, that guy cracks me up.
Okay. So yeah, you did Comedy on the Spot. Your little riff show that we do at Put a Cork in It, fourth Friday.
which,
we try
yeah,
to do fourth Friday. of
The
every
video will
month.
be up probably in about 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, maybe sooner, but yeah,
Nice.
everyone
Yeah.
will get to check out the whole show when that's up.
You did a great job, man.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was
Yeah.
so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, sure. Yeah, man. What I've learned is, what's funny is I get nervous about the topics. Like personally, like I don't want people to tell me. I'm better at crowd work.
Really?
So
Oh, yeah.
so I'll go into the crowd and be like, please don't give me a topic. Just like talk to
Yeah.
people.
You just want to riff with and have fun with the people.
Yeah.
Because it's like kind of like
Right.
what you do every day anyway, right? Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
your personality.
Yeah,
It's
I'll
just having
find
fun with-
places to go
yeah.
talk to people. That's my favorite thing. To
Or
do.
it's
It
like you'd be
is-
standing in line at Walmart and just make a conversation with anyone.
Yeah.
And make it funny. That's the kind of your superpower, right?
Well, that feels more natural. You don't walk around and go, give me a topic.
Right.
yeah.
We don't have nothing to talk about right now. Okay,
I'm just not so natural with just talking to people. I guess, so.
quick, give me something. Give me. I'm terrible at coming up with topics. I'm like, don't ask me for a topic because I'm terrible at thinking of stuff on the spot. I would be terrible at doing this kind of show. I imagine if I was a comic.
I'm not so good at that. Just like
'Cause
talking it up with somebody,
yeah.
getting to know them or whatever, and then doing that. Like I go to Dollar General, I put cat litter on the thing, and then some Sprite. And then she looks at me, she's scanning it, and nobody said anything for a while, so I just go, breakfast of champions, and then I leave.
That's good though.
nobody laughed. That's beautiful.
Maybe a choke
Okay,
or something like that. Yeah. I think it's hilarious.
That's kind of like me too. Like I'll make little jokes like that throughout my day, wherever I'm at. I'll just think of something. I'm really bad because I just make jokes to myself and I laugh at them and like don't even say them out loud. I legit do that all day when I'm door dashing, just driving around. Like, oh shit, this is a fun. So that's the thing. I could come up with some material. I need to start writing it down.
Yeah. Well, we want to get. There's a few people that I want to just put on Cork that's been with us forever.
Yeah.
And it'd be fun just because it's like, oh, we all know Dave.
Right,
Let's
right.
let Dave have 5 minutes and see what happens.
Right.
And if it gets sad, we'll just pretend like it didn't happen. But something like that, or I want to put Kurt up there.
Yeah, it's like
I
that.
do.
Certain just like random people that aren't comics, or not random, but people we know.
But they're still characters.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because people know Kurt from Comedy on the Spot. He's in every one. He wasn't there last night or the last time, but
I've probably seen him before.
He's
though.
vocal. Yeah, he was with your first show there,
okay. All right.
and he was a problem. But he's a sweet guy. He's just very vocal.
Yeah,
He's vocal. He's very
And
into it.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it's like kind of like they feel like they're like the kind of the head, I don't know what to call them. It's like they're just always there, like you said. They're always supporting, and it's like they could do whatever they want.
they really can. They usually bring
spend a lot of
6
money.
people
Yeah.
to 20 people when they show up. And so if anybody's like,
And
man, they
always
ruined
new.
our show. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, they were the show.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Yeah, that's like because even during your headlining set,
Yeah.
that was kind of like they were very being loud and being talkative, and it's like you're trying to perform your material you worked really hard on.
Well, you have to they see me every time.
Yeah,
and I
that's-
try to
yeah,
bring
that's
something
tough.
new every time. Like
Yeah,
5
it would be
minutes.
awful if you didn't. I
Yeah.
would feel bad.
Right.
I would,
So most of the time, I'm doing crowd work. That whole headlining set was mostly just like crowd work and keeping them at
Which was
bay.
good, but anyways, put a cork in it. It's great.
Well, I wanted to talk to
Yeah.
you since you did put a cork in it, and it's like a couple riff shows you've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
How long you been at it?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a solid 2 years,
I
dude.
appreciate it.
I love your writing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's very. You keep it. I don't know if you intentionally do, but you keep it fairly clean.
I try.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
kind of tame it, hold it back a little
Right,
bit,
right.
where
Yeah.
you could push it and go really gross with it. I'm sure.
But you have very interesting bits that turn like the horse bit.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a fun one. Or the new one you're doing with the cop that comes over and he's trying to be.
Oh yeah, the positive phrasing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's just an interesting take on those types of scenarios.
Mm.
How do you write, man? What's your thoughts?
I don't sit down and go, all right, what's funny? I don't do that. I can't do that. So I just go through my day, and if I see something or somebody says something that just catches my brain in that way, I write it down, and then later, a lot of the time before the mics, I kind of just pace back and forth and think about it, and I create whatever the bit in my head, and then I just bring it to the stage and do it that way. I don't ever write it all down. In my notes, I have a word for it. Like you were talking about one of my bits, and I said positive phrasing.
Yeah,
that's what that bit is
that's
in my
your
head.
code word or whatever.
So I have positive phrasing, and then I have that whole thing just in there.
Yeah. So
Nice.
you kind of like approach it like you're just telling the story. It might not be the exact same way every time, but you're just recalling the story or whatever the narrative is and just retelling it.
I try to,
Yeah.
For the most part, it does come out
Yeah.
like how it
Because
always
after you do it
kinda does.
so many times, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of how I do it.
Yeah.
It's a mess. You don't want to write like I honestly, my notes is I have like a big thing that's just stand-up jokes, and it's just pages upon pages.
yeah.
It's not organized at all. It's awful. It's terrible.
Dude, it's the hardest part is the
Yeah.
organizing. Like I have like 3 notebooks. I have 4 different notes in my my phone.
You have different apps.
But the stuff that sticks stays. You
Yeah,
know,
right,
the stuff that
exactly.
sticks stays. So it's
Yeah.
like, but something I noticed about you, and that's, I like the way that you write in that way because it comes off very conversational. Yeah, you're very like, it's like I think even in Comedy on the Spot, your delivery is it sounds like a comedian.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
ever since you started, it sounded like that to me. You know,
Oh,
and you had, I think before you kind of sounded a little bit more like, and not knocking
No, you're okay.
Mark Norman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that a lot.
Did you?
And that bothered me. I don't want to sound like anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Did you like work at that at all to like kind of develop like that comic? Because Julie Drake from the show, She was a perfect example because, like, she was just talking to people, but she was talking and delivering like her comedy. I think once you start doing that for so long, it just becomes very natural.
Right, of course.
But so is that something you think about, or like the delivery, like that? How a stand-up would deliver jokes.
I guess at a show like that, I just ride the laughter.
Yeah.
I just try to do that, which I guess is like being a comedian. So you hold for laughs.
Okay, yeah,
like if I'm about to say something, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, this is going to hit.
Yeah.
And then I wait, I let it hit, and then I go say the next thing. You just kind of ride it out. It's like an instrument, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's like kind of like surfing a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. So you hear you try something. As soon as you don't hear a laugh, keep moving.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
then they know.
Yeah.
It's like, but
It's
otherwise
so
they wouldn't. It
bad.
just sounds like conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I saw this guy at Breakdown. It was like his first time doing stand up. This is just real quick. He was up there, and nobody could really understand what he was saying just because he was so fast. He was so nervous, and he had a kind of an accent. I didn't know what he was talking about, but he would say a bunch of stuff and then hold for laughter. Nothing would come, and then he would hold a little bit longer, and then he went, "Why ain't y'all laughing?" And it broke my heart to see him up there, dude. I was like, oh, man.
I think
hurts.
that every time nobody laughs.
Why ain't y'all laughing?
It's funny because I mean that's the thing. It's like you get up there and you have these expectations about what you see as a viewer, as an audience member, and it's like when you try it, I'm sure it's like I've never tried it yet, so that's my thing. Is like I'll try it eventually, just at least to experience what it's like to be on the other side of it, So.
Well, I think you have a good set of expectations coming into it.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about this and like learned and just I feel like I've studied comedy in so many just. And not even that, I'm not even a huge comedy fan. I don't even know any like normal, or, current popular comedians. I don't know. I don't watch any new stuff. Like, I grew up watching it. Obviously, all kinds of these, greats. But it's like that's my thing with it. It's like I don't really care about comedy like you guys do, or some people do.
Right.
Yeah.
With just like I like the art of it, but not so much the actual art a lot of the times. Of course, I love more of the local guys. Like I have my favorite comics are guys like you and Caleb and and Will Davis and like all these really really funny local people that I just are friends with.
Right.
But
that's the best part. Is like it feels like whenever you come and you watch the local scene and people are starting to remember people. Like so we have people that come to court.
Great scene.
Yeah,
we really do.
And we're very fortunate that people are starting to get like really engaged in the comedy scene. And I'll invite people to come, like if they go, man, that was great. And usually those are the same people who are like, man, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
And I'll be like, man, come on, just come down to Bricktown, sign up, come over here. Here's the open mics page.
Right.
Leo runs that. He's a really great guy,
exactly.
And then everybody gets there, and you're like, and when people show up that are new, you'll open the door for them. Come on in, just like invite them in.
Well, because we were talking earlier before, I think maybe before you got here, or no, we were talking about Tulsa, right? Like, and how they are so welcoming and want people to come do it. It's like I feel like that's everywhere in a lot of ways because it's like we just always want this medium to grow and more people to be involved in it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a small thing. I mean, I always feel a little awkward whenever it's like I meet normal people and it's like, what do you do? It's like I'm a photographer. It's like mostly stand-up comedy. It's like, oh, really? It's like they just don't think about that or know that it's really a thing here.
Yeah.
A lot of people do. Anyway.
You're a pioneer.
But but it's just like, I have a lot of friends that are stand-up comics. It's like, and I think when I say that, people, their reaction is like, there are a lot of stand-up comics, like.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who like
But
self-torture.
there is.
This episode of Rhythm Wit was brought to you by Campbell & Son Electric, Oklahoma City's trusted one-truck electrical contractor with over 20 years of experience in the field. Whether it's upgrading your home's electrical service, troubleshooting issues, or tackling small commercial projects, Campbell & Son Electric delivers top-notch work with care and attention you'd expect from a family business. Servicing areas like Del City, Edmond, Yukon, Mustang, and beyond, they're your go-to for reliable expert service. Need help with your next project? Visit CampbellandSonElectric.com today and get it done right the first time. Campbell & Son Electric, brightening Oklahoma, one wire at a time. So I did want to. We brought you here today because
Yeah.
you went on a trip this past week,
Yep.
and we're a little curious about it. You went out to Austin to kind of check it out. You had 2 weeks off from work.
Yeah.
So you got paid to go to
Vacation.
Austin.
Paid to go. It was
Nice.
sick. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Had you ever been there before?
I had never been to Austin. No, I had never
Yeah.
been down that that far south. I had never been. This is my first ever comedy trip that I was
Nice.
taking on my own,
Okay,
fully
cool.
financed by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And went there, had a great time, bombed a lot in front of comics. I hadn't really planned it out, so I didn't have any shows or anything like that. So I was just going and just experiencing what the local guys experience.
Right. Which
And,
is it's important. And
right.
Cool.
Made a lot of friends. Bombed a lot, man.
Did you?
Bombed.
So how did you? First off, when you showed up, how did you find the mics that you were going to?
There is a page, so somebody helped me out. Mostly I talked with some of the other comics there first, and of course Chandler Roan helped me out a lot. He's the only guy I...
Shout out Chandler Roan.
Yeah,
What's
shout out
up?
him.
Does he live
He's a
there?
homie. Mhm.
Yeah, he lives
Yeah, I
there
think.
now.
Did he used to live here? Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
heard the name.
I think he
know.
moved a year or so
He
ago.
left right as I was starting out. Because I remember looking up for open mics, I went on Bricktown's page, and I saw his show. And I was like, this
okay.
guy's like a young guy.
Yeah.
I was like, I could do it. I could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's why they let guys do that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So you
So-
found the open mics,
Mhm.
right? And then, so what days did you actually go? So when did you? So you got there like on a Monday?
I got there on a Sunday,
Yeah.
and then I stayed till the Thursday. I left that Thursday morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you got your mics together, got everything together. I'm assuming, Sunny Deep drink in the mornings. You just like
Yeah.
out there. Let's go. Well, I guess when did everything kick off? And then like.
It started some days it would start at like 3 in the
Oh,
afternoon.
really?
They'd have
Yeah.
a mic.
Yeah,
like
because they have a lot of mics. I imagine. I mean, I don't know.
Absolutely,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, more so than here. It's like I always know. I know this about like San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York. You know, you can go as a comedian and do 3 or 4 mics in one night. You know, or more.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's like so Austin is similar in that way.
yeah, they'd have like 3 or 4, sometimes like up to like 7
Yeah.
in a night.
one night.
Something like
And
that.
like probably like on a busy whatever the busiest day is. I would
Yeah.
imagine.
You
like
can't
a
do 'em
Tuesday.
all,
I don't
though.
know. Yeah.
But Monday
Yeah.
starting at 3. Is that what you're saying?
I think it was like Tuesday. There was a Tuesday
Yeah.
mic starting at 3 or something like that at the Sunset Strip. That's I think
Nice.
Red Band's club.
Okay.
So
Did you
yeah,
get on there?
I got on there. That one was sad for me, but yeah, it was. I mean, it's just because it was comics. I mean, for these open mics or whatever,
Yeah.
it's just comics hanging out. They don't care about your set.
Yeah.
Or whatever, so.
But it's mostly comics
Yeah.
that you saw, and then there's a speckling of people here and there.
The shows had people.
Yeah.
Like I would go out. I went to a lot of the shows. Great comedy,
Mm-hmm.
really great comedy. Comedy that made me go like, dang, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
see
gotta
where
local
you gotta
comics?
get. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
and
wow.
and even at the open mics, I was going and I was
Yeah.
like, dang, these guys are good. Like some of these guys are really, really good. Just
Yeah.
have very unique jokes.
Nice.
They're very jokey down there, I'll say. Like I got stories, like 3-minute, 4-minute long stories or bits. They have jokes.
I wonder if it has something to do with like the internet and like social media, and that
It very
it's, like,
well could
it
be.
needs to be
Yeah.
shorter so you can get those.
Could be
'Cause
the Kill
it's like-
Tony sets.
I mean,
That
it's
could
like
be that
people
as
like
well.
there because I think about it, and I think maybe why one of the differences is like it's very competitive there. I mean, I imagine there's a lot more people competing and doing this, so it's like that would make you sharper and
Yeah.
want to get better and yeah.
Is that what you saw?
Absolutely, yeah.
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 So you went, caught some shows, did some mics. How'd you feel? Now, something I have heard about Austin here recently is that it seems like it's oversaturated. Was it difficult to get on mics?
I would say yes. I think it's oversaturated a bit. There seems to be like 2 different scenes. There's like kind of the guys who maybe were there and are trying to do comedy like how we're trying to do comedy. And then there's this group over here who wants 15 minutes on Kill Tony.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
I
like a
see.
certain goals,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah,
Right.
mhm.
And to each their own,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
there is a lot of people down there.
Did you visit both camps?
Kinda, yeah. I tried to steer on maybe one side, and then like the next day I'd hang out with this group. You know, I didn't sign up for Kill Tony though. I kind of wish that I
Yeah.
had.
Did you? Yeah. What would you have ran? A minute?
Yeah, I would have. I don't know. I would have done some new joke that's been doing good lately. That suicide hotline joke.
Yeah, that one's
Probably do
fun.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't do that one. I went to some other mics instead, because there's other mics going on while that's happening. So I was like, okay, there's maybe more opportunity, more stage time elsewhere.
Yeah, it's like you could waste a lot of time trying to do that, and whereas you could be doing like 3 or 4 other mics somewhere else. It makes sense.
So as you kind of went around doing this and basically collecting data,
pretty much,
because you're kind of scouting out,
right?
For when you're obviously going to return a star and show them what's
I'm
up.
going to come back and be like, remember you guys didn't laugh last time? Get ready to do it again.
Did you all see my comedy on the spot set? You got the M&M's bit? But so you kind of checked it out. Went through seeing a few people. Do you see anybody noticeable or notable?
Yeah, I saw some of Shane Gillis's guys kind of hanging out.
Okay.
I saw some of the Kill Tony crew, like Ari Matty. You know that guy? You've seen him?
Yeah, I don't really watch Kill Tony that much,
you.
but yeah, no.
He's funny, dude. Really great bits. He's got really well-constructed comedy. Saw like Sean Gardini. Saw like one of Shane's friends. And this other guy, Nate Marshall, I think. I saw some of the guys that were on the local shows, especially for Sunset Strip, were really, really good. There was this guy, CJ. I don't remember people's last names.
Yeah.
I'm already so bad with names.
Like you're trying, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get like? I always like when we went to Tulsa and to Blue Whale. It's like I have like there's like at least 10 Instagram accounts that I follow, people that I saw out there that maybe weren't even from Oklahoma, but it's like now I'm just a fan, you know. Did you do something like that? Just have like a new like list of people that you're just following now?
Pretty much, yeah. Follow a lot on Instagram and everything like that. Yeah, it's difficult, dude. Remembering all these names.
Yeah, exactly.
That's trying to get better.
Chad Daniels used to say he would like write down people's names that he met in that night.
Yeah.
Like he would go to the set and do a set.
Doing a vocabulary test.
Basically, like, who was this? What was his
You make
handle?
flashcards. You're like, all right, gotta memorize.
with pictures of people. You're just like, Dace. Fuck.
That's funny.
But yeah, man. So did you get a chance to network? Did you make any important meetups?
People down there, they're also like I met so many because everybody down there is pretty eager to meet the new guys.
Yeah.
If they don't recognize you, they'll come up, they'll introduce themselves, meet you, show their friends, whatever. And so that was a warm welcome. You know, was coming down there. I was a little nervous, meeting new people and everything. And I only know Chandler. I was like a baby duck. I was just like stuck to Chandler the whole time. I felt bad. I don't even know the guy that well.
But it's like,
yeah.
How are you around social situations? Like, are you normally extroverted,
Dude,
introverted?
I'm the guy on the wall, just banging my head. I'm chilling, man. I don't want to. I'm not the outgoing guy.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. No.
You seem like I love that your stage presence is so like heavy.
Yeah,
and,
I
like,
try.
Yeah.
I really try. It's
Yeah.
taken a while, but yeah.
that's always an interesting thing to learn about because there are a lot of. I think you assume that every stand-up comic is an extrovert just because they're up on stage, literally have the spotlight on them. That's like what extroverts want, right, all the time.
Yeah.
So you assume that, but I think it's probably more like half and half are introverted and extroverted. I mean, it's just like any music or any art. It's always like that, right? So it's interesting to learn whenever people are more introverted, and that's I feel like it's such a huge hurdle, a bigger hurdle when you are coming from that place.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like it's more natural, right? If you're extroverted already, like you're already doing this in your daily life, and it's like
Forcing it on people.
Yeah.
Really.
Now you just like
You're polite.
Exactly. It's like I would because I think about the differences between you and me a lot, and it's like I would like create, the things that you would do in public and stuff like that. It's like I couldn't ever see myself doing some of those things.
Well, does that ever make you like, I wish I wasn't with him?
Not
right
really.
now.
I think that's why obviously we work together because it's like I want to be more like you. It's like if I was, I feel like I'd be better at the things I'm trying to do, right? Like, but it's hard just for coming from that reserve, like you're trying to.
Dave,
you're afraid of
it's
the
okay,
outside.
I want to be like you too.
No, I think that's the thing. We kind of meld together.
That's so funny.
Whenever we, And it's like if we were combined, if we did the fusion dance.
Yeah.
Perfect.
You watch Dragon Ball Z? Fusion dance?
Everybody knows that reference.
Yeah, guys.
It's regular yin and yang over here.
Yeah, I tried to write a Dragon Ball Z joke, and it's just the only person that got it was Jack Ishikawa. He's just like laughing hard in the crowd, dude. He was like,
I remember you told me that.
He like looks at the rest of the crowd. You guys are wrong. This is good.
I was like, thanks, Zach.
Yeah, it's tough.
Is it Bricktown? I was just trying my best.
He has a very distinct laugh too.
He
That's
does.
very funny.
He does, dude. He went. I think he even went up there and like joked on the fact that nobody. He was like, "Come on, guys." Like, that was good.
Funny.
But no, as so you went, did the Austin thing, hung out. I think it's good that you can find somebody to kind of cling to a little bit too, because they can introduce you, kind of give you an idea of the vibe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Would you go back, or would you try to go somewhere else?
I would go back.
Yeah.
I would love to go to other places too.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that's like is close. So
yeah, it is. It is pretty close. It was like a 5.5, 6 hour drive.
It's not terrible.
It didn't feel too bad. You know, just put on a good podcast like this one. It makes it pretty good. But yeah, I would absolutely go back. And now that I know the scene a little bit better, of course, collecting that data like you said.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So what do you have any plans to go? What's your next place you'd like to visit, or are you thinking about trying to hit next?
No idea, honestly. I mean, I just got back. I've spent a decent chunk of change getting there.
Save up some money first.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think I'm going to visit OKC for a little while.
About a year.
Yeah.
Maybe Norman.
Till that other 2 weeks of vacation comes in.
Right. Yeah. Rebuild it for sure.
I might check out Colorado, I think.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, probably Colorado. I would like to check that out.
Colorado. I don't know if Kansas City is good, but that's a big city, and it's about 6 hours too in the other direction. I mean, my brother lives there, so
Little Rock too. They've got a loony bin over there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, there are some, like I said, within that 5 to 6 hour range. There's pretty good, couple of spots that aren't too far.
So you got out there. What are your biggest takeaways? What are some of the biggest things you learned while you're out there?
Dude, biggest takeaway I think for sure is I gotta work on stage presence and writing bits. Everybody down there is writing so much more, much more. Like every time I would see them at a mic, they're like, "I thought of this one today," and then they'd say it, "Great bit." Yeah, and I'm like, "Dang, dude!" Like I really gotta step it up because, man, I don't know that there are many in our scene that are working as hard as most of them down there. Or some of the ones that I saw anyway.
Yeah, that's why I felt at Tower City. I was like, okay, yeah. There's, I think competition is important. I think it also can be like kind of bad for a scene too. But I mean, if it's like that where you're sitting there and you're basically battling jokes, and the quality around you is better, and you have to rise up. I mean, obviously that's going to be a better. They have more population to pull from too, obviously, and now they're kind of like the mecca for comedy in
in the Midwest.
In the Midwest, basically. Yeah. But yeah, so that and what else?
That and don't get a cheap hotel.
Why do you say that?
Dude, Monday night I come home from the mics, it's 2 a.m. I go to put my card on the thing, it doesn't work. I go to the desk, he gives me a new card, come back, it doesn't work. I go back to the desk, guy comes up with his master key, it doesn't work. Can't get in my room. He goes back, gets this weird tool that was literally just a clothes hanger that was like, this is the cheapest hotel I could get. It was called America's Best Value Inn.
Don't go there.
It was awful. Don't go there. It's like $40 a night.
Of a
It was bad.
$40 a night.
I mean, like I had to go cheap and everything. And this was the only problem I had with the place, really, was that one night my card wouldn't work. I couldn't get in my room.
Right.
And it's just this one dude working at the place. He's trying to call maintenance. They're not picking up. He's trying to jimmy this clothes hanger through the door, get it unlocked. That's not working. He turns around, looks at me, and he goes, "Did you have a car?" And I was like, "Dude, what?
A car?"
He's like, "Yeah, you could have. I'm sorry, you could have to sleep in your car." And I was like, "I'm not sleeping in my car, bro. This isn't even an inn anymore. It's an out. I'm locked out of the inn, dude.
Exactly.
This is
ridiculous.
This is isn't even an in, it's an out.
That's messed up. It's like they didn't have any extra rooms because a normal
They
place.
did it. They were like
if it was
booked, I
full,
guess.
that's the only thing. It's like most places would just be like, well, here's a different room that is open. That's it's like you couldn't break in the window or.
Did you
like
already
that.
pay?
That's wild.
Yeah.
Did he give you your money back?
I did get a refund.
Oh,
but,
good.
But yeah, it was
But
ridiculous.
That room was just, it was nobody, now they don't use it.
I would
What
hope
happened
not.
to that room, dude?
Dude, I don't know. I tell you what happened to that room. The last night that I stayed there, I was like, I wasn't going to make a big fuss. I'm not one of these guys who makes a big fuss, yells at the guy or whatever. Because the guy was trying. And I could tell he felt bad that he couldn't. And he was like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And then I came the next morning. He apologized so much. But I was like, man, screw America's Best Value Inn. This place sucks. The company sucks. I'm going to screw them over. And the way that I thought about doing that was I turned on all the hot water in the place, turn on all the hot water in the bathtub and the faucet, turn on all the electricity, and I let it run all night. Like, screw them,
They're gonna
dude.
pay.
They will. They will pay. Probably everybody in the hotel the next morning had no hot water, nothing.
So now, that could
Best value.
That
Yeah.
would like ruin so many people's experience that they wouldn't go back. I mean, that could have like major.
If you go put a 1-star review, it's like, oh, there's 50 of these here.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to be hurt.
Yeah,
They all say,
honestly-
made Dace sleep in his car.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
That's
glad you got
wild.
through that. I mean, at least you got that story out of it. That's pretty good. I love
That is
that
the
he
one
Yeah.
thing
felt
about
bad.
being a comic is that like,
like-
this sucks, but this is a good story.
It's like there
All
is
right.
that little
It's
because you
fine.
talk about that all the time. Whenever you have bad things happen to you, it's like being a comic makes it better because like you know like at least you have that one thing in your mind that makes you happy. It's like oh, I can use this.
Yeah.
Just take out all your anger out on
Yeah.
making bits about it.
Well, I did that with like one lady. I was driving. I told the story,
Yeah.
but I turned left, and then and there's 2 left lanes. She's in this one. I'm in that one, and I don't even really think I go
Yeah.
over. I just kind of. She
Got
just got
close.
scared, and she freaks out.
Whoa.
And then my number's on the side of the truck, so she calls me and goes right to my phone.
Really?
And she's right. We're neck and neck, right
is
next
so
to each
funny.
other. And I answer my phone, and she goes, "Hey, your guy's out here, and he's all over the road." I was like, "Oh, what does he look like?" She goes,
Is he handsome?
"He's like, he's got glasses and he's ugly." Oh, damn! I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "Okay." He's like, "And he's on his phone right now." I was like, "Damn, bitch, leave me alone. I'm trying to make some money." I was like, "Okay, I'll tell him." And then I hung up. But then I called like Mike Dunn right after, and I told him
Yeah.
the story. I was like, "Can you believe that?" And he goes, "Oh my God, this is
good
such a
bit.
bit, dude. You
Yeah.
got to tell this."
This is great.
And then I was like, "All right, I will." And then I called Liz, and then she was like, "Yeah, you got to."
I love it.
Not do
I
that.
love
Don't hurt
that
people.
because I love that because it ties directly into you already have jokes about your van. You know,
Yeah.
It's like, I think it's awesome to build into stuff like that.
Yeah, but that hurt.
Yeah.
When somebody doesn't know you
I
and
bet.
they tell you you're ugly.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's like what?
If it's family.
Just an objectional. She's just laying around. Dude, no, screw her, dude. She
Yeah.
was upset. That had nothing to do. You're
Am
a
I
handsome
ugly
guy, man.
because of the glasses? Like,
What is it? It's
I
like
don't-
because you couldn't really see your face. You saw like a side profile.
Look
Like,
at this fat fuck up
yeah.
in this van looking like. And I was just on. I was like, yeah. And then I was looking over. I was like, dang, he's just fucking. Okay. All right, I'm gonna go.
So,
He's like, yeah, well, you're not that too great either, lady. Chill, lady.
Run her off the road. It's like this is Del City for sure. But yeah, no. But you find those little pieces of hurt, and then you take them and make them better. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And you tell everybody about them. That's how I grew up. I used to run.
Yeah.
We used to like hang out, me and Dave, and we'd drink, and then I would just show up one day. I'd like say I'd leave and go to a 7-Eleven or something at band practice, and I'd come back and I'd be like, "Dude, check this out."
Yeah.
And Dave would be like, "All right, here we go."
Whole story.
Yeah, and it would just be some dude didn't hand me my money right
Yeah,
or something, but
right.
I turned it into a whole
Just
thing.
the smallest
Yeah.
thing. It's the smallest inconvenience.
Yeah,
But you're just like,
and it's
screw
like
this
yeah.
guy.
turn it into something bigger because it's like we do that all the time, right? It's like every experience that we have, we think it's like, oh, everything's out to get against us or something because
Right.
that's your experience. So
Right.
it's like you would normally think that. So it makes sense that but it's probably better to turn it into the material than to like just have, because we all have those thoughts, right? Like, you think about it all day, and you're like, "Fuck this," But it's like if you can use that, turn it into art. That's
Yeah. Well, I call and I'll tell people, like, as soon as something happens to me, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna call Liz.
Yeah.
Dude, can you check? Am I crazy?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that is something about you too, because you're always looking for that outside,
perspective.
Yeah.
I'm looking for like, okay, look, one time I almost killed a guy at Lock. I was at Lock Supply. No, this is for I had justification in this.
I think you told this story. Continue, but I remember on the show even. But,
well, we're going to do it again.
Yeah.
Then I went to Lock,
and
this was like right after the pandemic, right after my mom passed away, which is, and then I go through and I'm ordering material. I got 2 guys waiting on me at another spot. I go to the place and there's a guy on the table. He's like, he's angrily typing, and so at a parts house. So I'm just like, I'm not gonna talk to that. I'm gonna go over here to this person, and so I'm standing in line with this person, and this guy calls me and goes, "Hey man, I can help you over here." And in my head, I'm just like, "Oh my god, I don't want to." Okay, so I turn around, I go over, and I go, "Hey man, I'm good here. If you're cool, I'll just wait in this line. It seems like you're busy." He's like, "No, I can take care of you." I was like, you know?
This is the angry guy that was typing.
Yeah, he was the angry guy. So then I asked for a certain part and a length. And he goes, well, what kind? What, And I was like, all right. I was like, never mind. I'll go over here. And he goes, no. I was like, and then I go, okay, well, and I told him the length and I told him everything else. And he was just like, all right. I was like, you know what? And that's when I lost it. I was just done. I was just like, forget it. I'll go find it myself.
Yeah.
I know that you have to spool off the wire. They have to do it to cut the length. I'm trying to get away so I don't freak out. I'm just trying to give myself room to breathe. Right? So I'm like, forget you. I'm walking away. He goes, no. I was like, hey, you had your chance. And I just walked to the back so I can calm down.
Yeah.
I'm standing there in front of the wire. I'm counting to 10 and praying. That's what I do. I'll whenever I get mad, dude, and I'll count. I was counting to 10 and praying. I have my eyes closed. I'm standing there in front of the wire, and he comes over to me, and I'm standing in front of the wire and he puts his face right here, and I don't see him, and he goes, "Hey man," and he taps on the price thing, and goes, "It's right here if you're looking for it."
Oh,
yeah,
man.
He was this far away from my face, and I'm so mad. I'm shaking. I'm like, "Hey man." You need to leave me alone.
Dude, you're keeping your composure. I would have already...
Dude, he was like right here. He was right here.
There was like 4 times in this story. Blown up.
Yeah. So I go, man, here's the thing. You got to understand, like, you really frustrated me. I'm trying not to hurt you right now. And he's immediately freaks out. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. Let me go get this wire. Let me go. I'm walking back and forth in the aisles going, please, God, don't let me get upset.
Yeah. Right.
Other people in the room start going, I'm going to get outside. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end, he's like, I'll do whatever you want, man. How long do you need? I was like, forget it. I'm going somewhere else. And I just left.
Yeah.
The parts house was 5 minutes away from my job. I drove 30 minutes away to go get the part and come back.
Dude, that's a 30-minute cool-off.
Yeah, it's like you needed that 30 minutes probably.
Well, the whole time I was mad because I had 2 guys waiting. I was I'm spending about $50 on this right now.
Damn.
So, and then I show up and I tell them the whole story. They're rolling, laughing, and it made me feel better. That guy got fired like 2 weeks after that. They redid the whole store. They got rid of everybody that was working. I'm not saying it was my doing, but I wasn't happy.
That guy had an attitude.
But it's something about it. It's like he just was completely oblivious to everything.
But I called 10 people. Yeah. I was like, am I crazy? Yeah. And Liz was like, you always just get mad though. I was like,
But I
can't imagine you too mad, man. I don't want to now. Now that I know the side of you, I'm terrified.
I've had a lot of practice. I've had like anger issues. But luckily you go through
growing
life.
up.
I mean, when we were growing up.
Yeah, it's like when you're young, I think, because I feel like I had a lot of anger issues when I was a kid, like in middle school, or some, like that 4th, 5th to 6th grade area. But I was like 10 years old. It's like
walking around kicking rocks at 10. Nobody.
It's like, what is that? I don't know, but I did have a little bit, but yeah.
You got any? You don't seem like an angry guy at all, dude.
No, I'm really not an angry dude. I'll get frustrated or irritated, but it fades pretty quickly, and it's rarely at another person. Most of the time, it's at myself. It's an inner. Yeah.
So you're just in here like, I can't believe you.
Yeah, I'm kind of mean to myself sometimes. I try not to be, but a little bit. I'm like,
guy.
man, you suck, dude.
Be nice to my friend.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just all right. So we're out of Austin, right? You didn't kill anybody. That's great.
Well, you didn't say that.
Now we know why the room was locked.
Damn.
But yeah, man. So you got out of Austin. You got a new perspective. You're walking into the scene now. How you feeling? What are you working on?
Oh man, yeah. I'm gonna try to. It's like I said. I gotta work harder, dude. Gotta keep writing. Yeah, man. Just perfect my bits. Work on stage presence a lot. I mentioned this before. I'm kind of scared about talking to them a little bit. I just kind of want to do my material a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But down there, they were very open with the crowd and everything. A lot of asking questions and then talking to them, then going into a bit. A lot of that. I want to try to get better about that. And stand up on the spot was a great opportunity to do that. And I was a lot better than I thought I was going to be.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun on that show.
Yeah.
And also, I do want to say shows like that, I think, are so good for the scene. Like different shows, you're not just doing comedy and stuff like that. So I can't tell you how much I really do appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for having me on again.
Oh, yeah,
so
absolutely.
much fun. Much fun.
It's the main reason why I put comedy on this or put a cork in it together, and then to put headliners was to try to get us some better experience.
Yeah,
you know, we have a lot of really great talent.
We do, man.
We really do, and you being included.
Shucks.
But the thing is like we don't have a really great. Before we didn't have great places to practice. There wasn't a place you could do 30 minutes or 20 minutes. Really, you might get 10, 15.
It's like
things were pretty sparse. So I was like, all right, well, let me get more time, okay. And then I saw what you said. It was like, man, it seems like they play more with people. Well, how do we practice that? It's like, all right, comedy on the spot. That's how we practice that. So
great,
it was a need. You could tell, and
you're so good at that, man.
Well, I'm on every time.
Yeah, that's what we were saying before. You were talking about the lineup and how you picked, you wanted to put certain people in certain spots, and it's like you have the most experience. It's like, which is weird. I mean, it's like at this, yes, because you're on every one of them.
Yeah, and Cody too. I put
Cody.
Cody's great.
He's getting really good.
He's
at
very
it.
naturally, very bubbly person. He's really, really good at that. I've seen him destroy Lawton. Every time he goes down.
Yeah, we saw him there at the comedy contest a few weeks ago.
Yeah, dude. Them glow up shoes, man. They fit his personality,
so
don't
wild.
they?
Yeah, they really do. I saw you at Bricktown at the open mic. I think maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and it was a good night. Everybody doing bits and stuff like that. Nobody really talking to the crowd. And I was watching your set, and you came out there, and you were talking you were clanging and begging. You annihilated, and it was so good. It was so funny. And I remember watching that and going, "Dang, man, I gotta work harder."
The thing is you know how it is when you get up on stage. You got to kind of clear the canvas, you know.
Yeah,
and so the people over here, there are two guys that walked up and sat down in the middle of somebody's set, which is cool. But then these people were talking behind them, and they were kind of talking.
Right.
So I was like, well, I got to get them to be quiet without being a dick.
Right. Just engage.
Yeah. And so I went over to that lady, and I was like, hey, what are we doing? We talking over here? What are we talking about? And then she, they immediately were like, I was like, no. Hey, what'd you order? It looks good. And she goes, nachos. I was like, yeah, I could tell there's gonna be a lot of crunch coming from you, And so it kind of quelled it down while also being funny.
Right.
And then I picked on these two, and the guy looked like Super Mario, like for real.
Yeah.
So I was like, because he had like overalls on, he had a hat, and he had a mustache. He was a Mexican, so he looked. I mean, not. So he looked like he just got off work. I mean, he
almost
just
Italian.
It was almost. That's why it's close you're gonna get in Oklahoma. But I go, hey man, what's up, Super Mario? And then people were like, he does look like Super. And then he was like, my name is Mario. I was like,
I remember that. Yeah. That was great.
So that was just more of a magic trick than it really was
So I was like, that guy knew what he was doing. It's like, how do you dress like that with that name? But when you put overalls on and your name is Mario, you can't not see that.
Yeah. And he was a veteran, which it just gave more to the crowd to be like happy that they were talking. And then as soon as I was like, okay, they're quelled, let's try to do some jokes, you know. And so that I learned that from working with Kurt and his crew.
Oh yeah,
because they will play with you, and then you kind of got to jump out of your set,
Yeah.
get them gathered up, and then get back in your set. And so you do that 4 or 5 times in a set.
Yeah.
You get pretty well practiced at it, and that was all the headline. set
that's
was.
kind of like a secret kind of thing that you work on at comedy on the spot or any show I put a cork in it is dealing with Kurt, because it's like they're the most talkative that you're probably ever gonna really encounter at a show, so it's like, well, if you have to deal with them every week, it's definitely building your skill set in dealing with anyone in that situation.
Well, and I love it.
I
love, the jokes are an excuse for me to get on stage and talk to people. That's what it feels like. It's like, all right, I'm gonna tell you a joke, and then I'll see if somebody laughs. I'm like, ooh, why are you laughing? What's your deal? You kind of like that. That's cool. You got a small dick too. But oh, go ahead.
You like to pick at him. You like to poke fun.
Yeah. I was raised that way.
Yeah.
I was an older brother. My parents and all of us all just poked at each other until we got mad, and then we went back and apologized. And there was no secrets in my house. Everybody let out their shit, and then after you would yell at each other, and we sit down and be like, "You want to watch Casper?"
Yeah.
I love Casper. Christina Ricci's sexy as hell. When I was younger. But you're saying you're trying to work on those aspects of it, like kind of the crowd work, kind of the playing around, and comedy on the spot drew that out of you a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
What do you think? How you're going to approach doing that in your comedy now?
I think I'm gonna try to take time at future shows. I'm gonna try to allot time to do that. This was something that I was reading. This is old, but I was reading Lenny Bruce.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he has this book, The Essential Lenny Bruce. There's not too much great comedy stuff in it. The first chapter is called Jews. The second chapter is called Blacks. So it's a weird book, and then you have to sift through a lot of that to get to comedy stuff.
Okay.
But I'm reading that, and he was talking about how for about 4 or 5 minutes in his routine, he takes time to ad-lib and stuff like that, and just come up with stuff on the spot or talk to the crowd or whatever. And I'm going to try to implement that kind of style, maybe take some time to do that. And I thought about maybe I'm doing 4 or 5 mics a week. Maybe 1 or 2 of those mics I can spin just doing that if there's a crowd there or something. So I'll try it out. I'm sure it'll be rough in the beginning. But that's how this goes, dude. We're addicted to failure in this business. So.
Yeah. Oh, it seems that way. It does.
I mean, it's like an addiction of overcoming or trying to overcome that failure. I mean, you can't. That's kind of an interesting thing. I think about this a lot since I've learned this concept of getting to know, in this negotiation book and shit that I read once. But it was getting to know. It's find the place where it's that. If you're negotiating with somebody, it's where is the line? You know what I mean? And it's and you can apply that to so many things. It's where is the limit of anything that you do? It's where is your limit in art, right? If you're a musician or a comic, it's you have to hit that wall right before you can get past it. So you have to find it. It's how do you find it? You have to do it.
You have to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then find that it's safe.
Right.
I feel like a lot of what helped me get on stage and do the stage stuff is I have conversations with people in their house about doing their electric work, right?
Right.
And a lot of times they don't even know what's wrong. I'd have to find a way to explain it to them in their terms. I know that you're missing a wire here, and then 14 other things could have happened because I've been doing it for 20 years. I have to find a way to express that idea simply and briefly. You can't just be like, all right, this is how electricity works.
Right. you can't just give a 101 electricity course right off the bat.
I think the biggest help was doing that, talking about and making big money decisions with people in their home where I'm uncomfortable and making it comfortable. Yeah. And then having them trust me.
Yeah. Because we talk about that a lot is having you have to get the audience to trust you quickly too.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
I talk about that a lot with the intros that people have about themselves, your first line. It's I have different examples, but Miss Kitty's, right? She has these perfect, something that sums them up, that person up in one line, and it's funny, it's quick, and it gets people to oh, I get where this person's coming from. I think that's a hard thing to find for a lot of comics, but once you do, it's very powerful.
Yeah. Well, I think mine is the Hey Guys.
Yeah.
I see you do that every time.
Yeah, friendly.
I love it. I love when you do that.
I feel like it's sweet, it's warm, you know, and then without fail, and I think it works. I know it works because people will say "Hey" back on stage,
it goes into that thing where it's like you like having a conversation. So it's like, what do you say when you first meet a group of people or whatever? you know.
Well, something I like to do in the world that I've recently started thinking about is I'll like go up to people. Or if I see somebody having a bad day and I'm just walking by them, like in a hallway, on the street, or they just don't look like they're, looks tough. I'll if you just smile, it's just, hey, man.
Yeah, that definitely.
It like warms them up.
Changes people.
Yeah, you're like, hey, man. And then you just say, have a good day, dude. And out of nowhere, you can just give somebody a little bit of like, all right, stand up straight. You're doing good.
Right.
And I think it comes from a place where I was like, I wish I had that more in my life. You know what I'm saying? And all it takes is a smile. You know what I'm saying? I mean, right after I'm done, I'm like, ugh,
Yeah. It goes back to your, but that's, goes into that. Yeah. You like putting those smiles on people's faces in the crowd. So it's
So I try to push that energy
Yeah.
whenever I'm on stage.
Yeah.
I try to do that just in regular life.
Yeah.
I think we all have like that coworker that's super just every day for whatever reason somehow they're in the best mood like, ever, and you're like, how? You work at the same place that I do.
Exactly.
How?
Yeah. You work at the same
I try to be that guy every now and then. But, walking by. The other day I was walking by this guy. He was looking in a mirror, and I was like, hey man, you don't gotta look in the mirror. You look good.
Hell yeah.
And he laughed and he was like, thanks man.
Yeah.
That made me feel good. You know?
Yeah. No, I do the same. Being on job sites, and you're in shitty situations, like you're putting in pipe in a, digging dirt, and you're in mud, and it's raining, and it's a shitty day, and then you're like, it's me and you, so it's like, all right, man, this is gonna suck, but we can have a good time, right? We're laying big pipe, right, guys? You know what I'm saying? And so you just like the simplest things, make a better day out of it, you know.
It's like comedy, and it's just like having fun. That's why I like it. That's why I think I like comedy so much. It's like me and you. Like, I think our biggest thing is, like, we just always have fun, no matter what we're doing. It's like, even if we're working, on music or whatever back in the day, it's like, it was always a good time. It's like, even when we did work really hard at it, but we practiced 3 days a week. It was way too much.
2 or 3 hours at a time.
It was great. But we
did pretty good.
We had a lot of time back then, too.
Well, there's not a lot of time left for, like in general, I assume, you don't know what you got. So it's like, all right, well, I'm here with you. We're doing a thing. Let's fucking forget. I got plenty of other time to worry, So I did want to ask you about this. So we were out of Austin. You did everything like that. Now you're making plans. Okay, I'm going to start doing a little bit of crowd work. You had great crowd work at Comedy on the Spot.
So much fun.
Yeah. And then now you're going to move into kind of working these new bits, working these new ideas. You talked about stage presence.
Yeah.
When you say they felt like they were better or more practiced at stage presence, what did you see that made you feel that way?
Just completely comfortable in the uncomfortable ability. Like there were a lot of the time I would see them at a spot where it's a bunch of comics. Everybody's thinking about their set. But a guy's up there, he's doing his bits. It gets nothing, but he's still just right there. I get flustered. And that's something I still am trying to get better at. I also still shake on stage. I can't really control that. I tried not do that, but I just do.
We noticed that at Comedy on the Spot.
Yeah, I did. Because we were talking about afterwards just about how everyone did. And it's like, Dace did great, but it's like I saw you shaking a little, but I don't know I don't think that it really, you didn't come off as nervous. The only reason I thought you were nervous is because of the shaking.
Yeah, I can't control it, dude. I can be up there. I was having so much fun. I was like, I'm killing, but I'm still like shaking.
Yeah, and I think I think a lot about that because I have a lot of anxiety just most of the time, and I'm sure it's similar in that introverted mind that we. But what I come to understand about that is just like it's just energy, It's like your body doesn't know it's building up this energy because you are excited, you're having fun, But it's like it doesn't know what to do with that energy, so it just. I think the only way I've found to deal with stuff like that is by just getting exercise, just working that physical energy out, however you can. But
so run in place on stage.
I don't know how you would do that, but I think maybe if you did just, I don't know if you have like a exercise regimen, but just work something like that. I just go and walk at the lake for like an hour, and it clears my head and does wonders for mental health. but also physical.
Yeah.
I skateboard a lot.
Yeah.
I do that a lot.
Oh, you
Yeah.
skateboard?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude. Give it time.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Maybe you'll do that instead. Yeah.
But-
So, do you skate though? Like, how often? Where you doing spots? What are you doing?
No, I did a lot more when I was younger. Just a bunch of flat ground,
Yeah.
flip tricks and
Nice.
stuff like that. I was always scared of getting hurt, so I wouldn't do
Yeah.
like staircases or anything like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, now I have like a cruiser board, and I'll just kind of get in a mood, and
Yeah.
I'll just skateboard from my house to Main Street in Norman and back.
Nice. Yeah, that's probably a good
a
place to
mile
do
and a
that. I like Norman. I never lived there, but like, I've always thought it would be a cool place to live, just because it feels like that walkable town. You know,
It's
in
nice.
a way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
How long? Yeah. How long have you lived there? And like, did you grow up in Oklahoma?
I grew up in Oklahoma. I grew up in Sulphur, Oklahoma,
okay.
and I moved here, or I moved to Norman rather in 2020. Yeah, 2020,
Okay.
November of
Oh, cool.
2020.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've lived there ever since. I just moved out of Sulphur. I had nothing going on.
Wow. Yeah.
You don't have any
So-
family up here? They're all in Sulphur.
My brother moved up here, and he was selling cars at the time. I was working at a restaurant in Sulphur, and I was just doing nothing. Like I
you're
went to
just-
college, it didn't work out, stopped going, and I was working at a restaurant, not like, unsure what I was going to do with my
Just
life or anything.
skateboarding and playing
Yeah,
video games.
Pretty much, yeah, skateboarding, playing video games, and I was so pale. I wouldn't go out during the daytime. Like I would skateboard at night. I would work at
Yeah.
night, and yeah, staying up super late playing video games
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Well, you found comedy when you got to Norman, I imagine.
Yeah, I came here as working shitty jobs.
Yeah,
shitty
restaurants
job,
again.
and I'm just again that thinking of like, what am I doing? Got to do something. And then I finally came to the conclusion I'd rather be doing something I like to do than
Yeah.
something that I don't like but is
Right.
financially good, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
I just want to do something I enjoyed. I want to enjoy my life. I don't the statistics and the likelihood that I make it big
Right.
doing anything are already so low. I'd rather just do something I like to do. And I always loved stand-up comedy and stuff like that. So
Nice.
I looked up open mics and all that, and here we are.
Nice.
What
All
was
right.
your,
So you started. Wait, hold on. So 2025. It's 2 years ago. 2023 is when you
Yeah.
started.
Yeah, 2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you make that decision?
When I was working at Walmart, this is like a whole thing.
Well, we got time. I mean,
I
a little bit
was-
of time anyway, if you want to get into it.
I was trying to think for like a long time. I was working at Walmart, and every the last break, I would just sit in my car and just stare at the Walmart building. And Walmart does suck. Working
Yeah.
at Walmart sucks. And I was like, man, like I don't want to do this my whole life. I got to do something. And I thought maybe I'll do something I could put my creative process into because I feel like I'm a very imaginative, creative
Yeah.
person. So I was thinking about something like that. I thought of carpentry and some other things, and it didn't really work out. And then due to some other circumstances, I started thinking about stand-up comedy again a lot,
Yeah.
and it just kind of kept coming up organically. And I'm one of those people where it's like, oh, it's maybe the universe is trying to tell me something,
Yeah.
regardless of if it is or isn't or whatever. It's just a lot of circumstances that brought to that point.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah,
So
you're
I'm
here.
like, okay, I'm thinking about it a lot.
Yeah.
And then I called Othello's.
Oh, wow.
I called
Oh,
them
nice.
like 4 times about do you still do the open mic? And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah. And
So you had heard about that, I imagine, or knew that they did it there.
yeah, I just looked up like open mics in
Yeah,
Oklahoma
okay.
City, and I didn't want to go to Bricktown yet because
Yeah.
Bricktown was at the club, and that's like a big, serious
Well,
thing.
That's what I was thinking about too. Is like we were talking a little bit earlier about creating those opportunities, and it's like there are no really good opportunities. There are a few, but like for brand new starting out, you know, it's like you don't necessarily want to go to Bricktown the first time. So yeah. So I was supposed to ask earlier. I imagine Othello's was your first open mic.
Yeah, Othello's was my first. It was one of those college nights,
Yeah.
so it wasn't as brutal as it can be. So but they were. It was a very giving crowd. My first set went good, and then from then on, I was like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do.
Hell
I'm gonna
yeah.
just do this.
What did you run that night?
Oh, bits I don't even do anymore, guys. I did a bit about being in your 20s are like the most stressful time of your life, you know, and then I just set out all these examples. you got to pay rent, you're working a crappy job, you don't like your boss, you got a car payment maybe, credit to worry about, you got to worry, if you have a girlfriend, you got to worry about all of that, family, all your favorite relatives are dying. And on top of all of those things, you're telling me I'm supposed to floss too? Your joke, that was the whole bit.
Yeah.
And there's like more to it.
You
and
like
stuff.
have this huge list of
Yes.
like important stuff, and
Right.
you're like, man, I gotta floss.
Yeah.
That's good.
That was the main punchline.
like it.
So is that when you got addicted? Is
Yeah.
that when
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely. And I was working there. I was working the night shift, and you can't really do that to do comedy at the same time.
exactly.
That's when comedy's happening. So I remember I traded shifts with a guy so that I could be on that Tuesday night. And I came back, and I was trying to get on the morning shift there. And Walmart, very corporate, whatever. They don't really care about the little guy or whatever. They just care about their needs.
It's like you're just a number.
Yeah, yeah. So they're like, no, can't really do it. I was like, well, whatever. I quit. So
Yeah.
I quit and got working at the place I'm working at now, the hotel, and working the morning shift so that I can do it. And here we are. I'm never going back.
Yeah, dude. That's what's
Still,
up,
you're
man.
on the path. That's what I was thinking about earlier too. Is whenever you've been doing this 2 years, and that's that's a long time for anything, right? I mean, that's a good mark to hit too. And I think that the difference is like 2 years. I mean, it seems like you've been working really hard at it for 2 years. It's like you've had a good 2 years of getting to where you are. Whereas like a lot of people say they've been doing this 5 years and not probably put as much work or thought into it than you have in 2. So I think
appreciate
that kind of goes into why it's a little surprising. Not to say it's surprising, but it's like I would imagine you're a little bit further along. But I mean, just in time wise.
I got you. That's very kind to say.
It's
Thank
great,
you.
though.
I do
Yeah.
try. I do
Your stuff
work
is-
pretty hard. I'm
Yeah.
trying, But yeah, man, shoot, gotta work harder.
Yeah, well, it seems like
Yeah.
you got a new bit every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like you
I
walk in
try.
with something,
I try.
something
Yeah.
new. I think we should finish up with the Copper Valhalla.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
your
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
So you do a podcast yourself with Tyler
With
Barriss,
Tyler Barriss, Caleb McCourry.
Caleb
Nice.
McCourry.
Yeah, called the Copper Valhalla.
You can act like a man! What's the matter with you?
Is Za pot and Zaza? What's Zaza or is Zaza pot?
Zaza's Pod in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that from listening to drill rap.
Flippin' Zaz,
Zaz.
that's pizza.
Zaz. Okay, that's just pizza.
Za.
That's more like Mazio's slang.
Yeah.
I had Little Caesars last night.
Wow.
Really good.
Were you drunk?
Better than most. I'd been drinking.
Yeah. Little Caesars is like
Better than most.
a kiss on the cheek from an angel when you've been drinking.
Yeah.
Truly.
I like their deep dish.
I think sober, it's probably like top 5 pizza.
It's
out of,
cheap.
Out of what pizza? What a disgusting cup.
Top 5. Hot and ready.
Lombardi's in New York.
I never been.
Yeah, you don't want to talk Za with me, dude.
I used to work at Mazio's, dude. It was kick-ass. I used to flip Zaz,
You know what
flip the
bothers
dough
me?
around.
When people say Mazio's.
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 It's like when
Yeah, I don't like Mazio's.
I wanna slap 'em.
Mazio's.
Mazio's. Have some culture behind it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
How did you get started in that?
I was friends with Tyler and Caleb, and Tyler had started the podcast at first with Nick Kissy,
Yeah.
who has
Fellas,
since
yeah.
moved to Dallas. Still doing comedy, by the way. He quit for a little bit, but he's still doing it.
Yeah.
Thank God, he's a funny dude.
Yeah,
It is
it's
funny.
great.
And so they were doing it for a bit. I got to feature on their podcast for the first time because I just had a mic. That was the whole criteria.
So you
They're
gotta
like,
bring your
well,
own mic.
yeah. So
That's awesome.
it's BYOM. And, yeah, I got on there, and then
That's awesome.
and then that's pretty much how it started. I was giving Tyler rides to and from,
Yeah.
and then every now and then he'd give me a ride because we both live in Norman, and we're friends, so we would
Yeah.
just ride together. And then so I would ride with him up here, and then he's like, "Oh, is it okay? record the podcast after. I'm like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I would either sit in the back, or he'd go, well, why don't you just be on this episode?
Yeah.
And then eventually he was like, you're just gonna be on the
Yeah, that's
podcast
great.
now. And I was like, okay.
So that's awesome. Because I've known about this podcast, but it's like, can you talk about like what it is? 'Cause I think you guys just kind of shoot the shit. Is
Pretty
there
much.
No, like,
Yeah. There's no structure at all.
Which is great. I
We
think
just
that's
hang out.
really fun. I think that those, because I listen to a lot of podcasts, not a lot. Like, I mean, there's certain ones that I definitely listen to regularly, but I think we're all kind of like that. I mean, but anyways, but you definitely know there are some that are like you kind of listen to for the information, and then there's some that you just want to turn your brain off and just have fun and listen to people shoot the shit. And so that's a fun.
Yeah, that's what we do, man. We're talking about whatever, anything and
Yeah,
everything.
just kind of whatever's on your minds.
Yeah.
Because especially it's like you guys are all comedians, so that's going to be interesting. Do you find that's like a way for you guys to like sharpen your skills and try jokes out? And
I think so, a little bit, yeah. A lot of the time it's kind of fighting over over the meat on the bone. Like if we got a new thing that we're talking about, it's like,
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. I love that, man. Yeah, you guys are very funny. It seems like I like whenever anybody gets together and does something in Oklahoma where it's just like, and it stays consistent.
Right. Yeah, because there's a lot of episodes. I mean, that's what I was looking up recently. I saw I was like, there's a lot. They do that pretty regularly. It's good.
Yeah, that's good, man. Yeah.
it's fun time.
Well, go ahead.
I think Will Burnson is going to be on the next one.
Oh, nice.
When we
Yeah.
were down
Very
to
funny.
Austin,
So-
we had Will Burnson on.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell people where to find that show or when to find it?
Yeah, Copper Valhalla. It's on Spotify and YouTube. That's where it's at.
You search for that, and then you guys put. Is there like a certain time you release, or is it just kind of once a week?
It's a little loose.
Yeah.
We try to do Monday or Tuesday, upload around then. So check our Instagram, Tyler, Caleb, or my Instagram, Dace Carlson Comedy. I always upload on my story whenever the episode's out.
Nice. You got anything cool coming up?
Anything cool?
Shows.
I had a whole thing. This guy wanted me to perform at his wife's birthday, like February 8th or whatever. I got this from work. It's like, and these people are expecting Don Rickles or something.
Yeah.
I can't do. I don't think I'm gonna be doing. I don't think I'm. Gonna do it.
It's kind of a tough thing. It's like you got to have a kind of a certain act
Right.
for certain,
They want. They
parties
think they
and
want
stuff.
comedy.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, some people could pull it off, and maybe you could. Maybe it would be fine.
Where's the
but,
birthday party
Yeah.
at?
it's at his house.
Yeah.
Just at his
Just
house.
imagine.
His son is doing music or something like that, and
so it'll be like a
How old is his
stage-esque.
I don't know. I don't even know.
You're gonna go up after somebody does some violins. So like 8-year-old. Happy birthday, and then you're like, horses. This kid's a horse's ass.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
You could try. You do your Dora the Explorer stuff.
Yeah. I was so glad you remembered, man. That's an old bit.
I like that one.
Oh, thank
a lot.
you.
That was one of my favorites. That one and because talking about Walmart, I remember you had a bit about quitting Walmart
Yeah.
that I thought about. I don't know if you want to tell or give any of it away, but it was. I think about that all the time because it's like, what was it like? You put your 2 weeks notice.
I put in my 2 weeks notice, not the real one. I put in the 2 weeks notice where it says in 2 weeks you can celebrate the 2-week anniversary of me not working here anymore. This place sucks.
Because I think about that, it's like, man, it's like you just quit. You just quit your job.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
like,
the whole scenario in the bathroom is great too.
Yeah,
It's like, but no, that's beautiful, man. Well, we appreciate you coming, man. We really appreciate, and thanks for doing comedy on the spot.
I appreciate you having me. I
putting
appreciate
in the
you having me on
work,
show.
man.
That
Yeah.
was so much fun. And this podcast is awesome. One of the
Thanks.
best podcasts in OKC.
Nice.
Love
Ooh,
it.
thanks, man.
love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Well, where can they find you?
You can find me Dace Carlson Comedy on Instagram and Copper Valhalla on YouTube and Spotify. It's our podcast. Check it out.
Yeah, keep a lookout for Dace, and if you guys need any shows for your birthday, he's doing he's door dashing comedy.
Do a great Don Rickles.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. I guess. Last thing we just want to shout out. I want to start doing this on at the end of all the shows. But yeah, buy us a coffee if you can. Go to buymeacoffee.com/rhythmandwit. That's rhythm AND wit spelled out. So go there. buy us a cup of coffee. Anything we make off of that, we're just going to put it into, mostly I'm thinking of like promotional ads or stickers. We need these stickers. So we're just trying to raise a little bit of money. If you guys want to support us at all, or if you can, go there. And then you can also email us at rhythmandwit@gmail.com if you want to just say hey.
Yeah. We'll say whatever you put out.
Yeah.
So,
And also, 'cause the coffee, buy me a coffee thing, you can put a message on there. So if you put a message on there, we'll read it. Absolutely.
yeah.
So, yeah, I just wanted to shout that out, and that's it. So
All right.
that's
Thanks,
it for the
guys. We
show.
appreciate you watching. Have a good one.
See you next week.